this question we're asked to identify a key feature of a trigonometric function. It says determine the amplitude of the function y equals -3 cosine of 4x minus pi halves plus 2. Okay, so this will be the first of 4 videos that we do using the following formula to help us figure out these key features of trig functions. And that equation or formula looks like this. Y equals a times sine, this could be sine or cosine or even tangent, any trig function really, of b times x, that's just a variable, it could be theta as well, minus c plus d. And again, a, b, c, and d are all just variables representing unknown values. Okay, so let's just highlight what those are. The value multiplied in front of the function is going to determine the amplitude of the function. How high does the wave differ from its midline? So the amplitude of the function is kind of like the wave's height. And also, if it's negative, it can be a reflection over the x-axis. But one thing we want to remember is amplitude is always positive. If we have a negative value out here, it just means it's been reflected. This value for b is going to determine the period of the trigonometric function, and the period is the time it takes for the wave to complete one full cycle. So that's going to have an impact on the period. And then this value inside of the function, added or subtracted, notice there's a minus in the formula to begin with though, is going to determine the phase shift. And that's just a more technical word for waves, for moving something, shifting something horizontally left or right. Okay, and then the value added, or it could be subtracted, outside of the function is going to vertically shift the function. So that's going to vertically shift the function, and that changes, it impacts, if we're talking about language relating to waves, that's going to impact the midline of the function. Last thing I should say is, if b is negative, that is similar to here, but it's a reflection over, this time it's over the y-axis. Okay, but primarily on the ACT, we're just asked to identify either the amplitude, the period, the phase shift, or the vertical shift. So in this case, our question asks us, determine the amplitude of the function y equals -3 cosine 4x minus pi halves plus 2. And the amplitude, we now know, is found by that value that is multiplied in front of the function. So in this case, we're looking at that -3. But then we want to remember that the negative refers to the reflection, and this coefficient, the absolute value of that coefficient, is just going to be our amplitude. So just the 3 is the amplitude, and we can make this question and others like it very quick on the ACT if we are familiar with this formula here. All right? So our amplitude for this question is found in selection G.